The impact of listening, how stories helped me master English. When I kicked off my English learning journey, I focused mainly on reading and grammar exercises. I figured that if I nailed all the rules, fluency would follow eventually. However, after several months, I could read just fine, but struggled to grasp what people were saying. Their speech felt way too quick, their accents tough to catch, and everything seemed to blend together. It was really frustrating. Then I stumbled upon a game-changing method, listening to stories. I started out with short audio stories meant for English learners. The narrators spoke slowly and clearly. I listened while I walked, cooked, or rode the bus. Back then I didn't realize it, but those simple tales were training my ears to pick up the rhythm of English. I began to notice little things, how words flowed together, how emotions changed the tone, and how context could alter a phrase's meaning. It felt musical, and I was starting to tune into its melody. Before long, listening became a part of my daily routine. Every morning, the first thing I did was play an English podcast or an audiobook. I didn't always catch every single word, but that didn't deter me. I kept at it. Gradually, my brain adjusted. I found that even without translating, I could grasp the overall meaning. I could visualize the story in my mind, like I was watching a movie. That's when it hit me. Learning. English isn't just about memorizing words. It's about hearing them come alive. One of the first stories that really captivated me was Oscar Wilde's The Happy Prince. The narrator's voice was soothing and full of emotion. I listened to it repeatedly until I could nearly recite it verbatim. I wasn't just memorizing, I was soaking it all in. The pronunciation, the flow, the feelings, they became part of my language toolkit. I started using similar expressions when I spoke, almost instinctively. Listening was naturally shaping my English. After that, I began to dive into all sorts of stories, fairy tales, real-life accounts, and even contemporary podcasts. I picked up new words not by poring over definitions, but by hearing how they fit into real-life contexts. For instance, I didn't just learn the word journey. I experienced it through the tales of travelers, dreamers, and adventurers. That's the magic of listening. It links sound to emotion. Listening also improved my pronunciation. Before, I used to pronounce English words based on how they looked, which often led to mistakes. But hearing native speakers helped me understand how differently words were actually pronounced. I practiced repeating phrases out loud, trying to match their rhythm and tone. It felt like having free speaking lessons every day. Slowly but surely my accent softened and my speaking became much more natural. There were days when I didn't feel motivated. Sometimes, after a long day, I didn't want to study or read. But listening was easy. I could do it anywhere, anytime. I listened while cleaning my room, taking a walk, or before sleeping. And even on those lazy days, I was still improving. That's the beauty of listening. It trains your mind passively without pressure. Another thing I learned was that listening builds understanding, faster than any textbook. When you listen to stories, you hear English in real use. How people express love, anger, surprise, or sadness. You learn intonation, emotion, and timing. You start to feel the language instead of just knowing it. And once you feel it, speaking becomes natural. Listening also taught me patience. At first, I wanted to understand everything immediately. But English is full of expressions, idioms, and slang. Some things only make sense after you've heard them many times. So I learned to relax and enjoy the process. Every time I listened, I caught something new, a phrase I had missed before, or a sound that suddenly made sense. Slowly, my comprehension grew stronger. After a few months of consistent listening, something amazing happened. I could watch movies without subtitles and still understand most of what was said. I could follow English YouTubers, interviews, and news, and when I spoke, my sentences flowed more easily. My brain was no longer translating, it was thinking directly in English. That's when I realized that listening to stories isn't just practice, it's transformation. You stop being a student and start becoming a real user of the language. The words you hear shape the way you think, and that's when true fluency begins. Here are some of the lessons I learned from my journey. Listen every day. Even 10 minutes is better than nothing. Choose stories you enjoy. If it's boring, you won't remember it. Repeat often. The more you hear something, the deeper it sticks. Don't worry about understanding everything. Focus on the main idea. Imitate what you hear. Repeat sentences, copy pronunciation, and feel the rhythm. Be patient. Real listening skills take time, but the results are worth it. Today, listening to English stories is still part of my daily routine. I listen to one every morning with my coffee and another before bed. Each story adds new energy to my learning. I no longer feel afraid when someone speaks fast. I can follow conversations, understand jokes, and express myself confidently. Listening taught me that English isn't just a language of words. It's a language of sounds, emotions, and connections. The more you listen, the more you understand the soul behind the sentences. So if you want to improve your English faster, stop worrying about grammar for a moment and start listening, really listening. Let the stories fill your ears and your heart. Because when you listen enough, English stops being a foreign language. It becomes a part of who you are. If you liked this story and found it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And your support inspires me to make more videos that help you learn quicker and more effectively. Thanks for tuning in. Keep up the learning every day. Catch you later.